you all your history. So, but with the books and stuff, go ask your grandmothers. If you don't have grandmothers, ask the elder, and it don't have to be political. Ask them.
My name is Anaya Brown, and my partner is Sophia Whitaker. We're here in the library of the Anacostia Museum with Mrs. Janice Austin Mason.
Yes. Oh, wow. Coming years ago, coming over and just enjoying the park. And then my brothers loved fishing. And also my sons loved fishing. So we would go and have like a little picnic. We used to walk across the bridge and go to the swimming pool. Yeah, we go to the swimming pool. Then we would see the different, you would see animals. And also we had pets. And we bring our little pets over there. So it's much history. It's a lot of history. And it's getting better. That's what I like. More people is coming. Yes, indeed. And you can see some of your old friends. Yeah, parties, we had parties and different activities. Also church events. I'm a proud member of Spirit of Faith. Just the atmosphere, the aura, and the beauty. And sometimes when you're going through something too that relieves your stress, you can go and you can look around. And I'm a people watcher because I like to go and see all the races. I'm a proud Black woman. Our heritage and knowing a lot of things we contribute to or started or we did, especially with Frederick Douglass and some of our other ancestors. We stand on their backs. We all need, young folks, y'all hear me, you baby girl, be of service. What you're doing now is wonderful. Be of service. Everybody can do something. I don't know how much power you are. I know it makes y'all feel good. It makes us feel good too. News do good things, but you do even better things. We all can do something. Like it's a wonderful thing to speak into the youth. And it's a wonderful thing, to see things coming back and doing better at Anacostia, at the park and stuff. But I don't want them to come in and just take over. No. Because we ain't going nowhere. Y'all ain't going nowhere. We live in this wonderful world of the United States together. Got to have hope.
My name is Yvonne Doughty. Please state your name for the...
My name is Bobby Young.
We are located in Washington, D.C. at the Anacostia Park.
Working for Friends of Anacostia Park is a perk within itself because I get to engage with the community. I get to network with the community, and then I get to meet people from the community. I was born and raised right here in Southeast Washington, D.C., as a matter of fact. We moved to Woodland Terrace probably in the early 70s. And when we moved there, I was exposed to Anacostia Park. It was predominantly Black. It was us, you know what I mean? People from Ward 6, 7, and 8 would frequent the park. And they didn't have that bridge that you see that's coming from Anacostia. None of this stuff that you see now, the skating rink, those offices, any of the things that you see that's down here now was not here. The park, I like to say, was raw. Just a wide open park, full of land.
My name is Derry Roberts, and I'm here with Deshaun Carey in the Anacostia Museum. I'm here to interview
Barbara Baylor. I'm a native Washingtonian. I grew up in Anacostia. I still have a lot of family over here. Married my husband from Anacostia. Government retiree, 2 children. I do have a lot of history from back in the day. And that park down there, we just used to go down there like walking. And might have a little picnic every now and then. We didn't have the things that they had down there back in the day. So we just went down there for a little picnic and rendezvous. I think it's entertainment for me and my family. My father just wanted us to have a halfway decent home and food to eat. Because all this comes from home, you know that. Everything starts from home. And at small age, So, but for yourself, a lot of homes are torn apart, and you can have one parent and still grow. You're gonna go somewhere, and this is a starter here. Don't look at other things. Just stick with programs. Everything get tough. Everything. Make your parents happy and your family happy. And I want y'all to use that park for everything, because it's gonna grow. That park is growing.
Here with Oriana Patterson. My name is Misha Smillerman, and I'm here interviewing.
Interview me.
Yeah.
I thought I was interviewing y'all. Okay, you interviewing me. Okay. My name is Dolores Clark. I'm a Washingtonian. Been living in Washington all my life. I'm 92 years old. I told these different places that I used to go, I would always come back home, which was Washington, D.C. Now, Washington, D.C. on the map, it's the promised land for a lot of people. Most people that come to Washington will tell you they come to Washington for a better life. We have government jobs here that paid more money than anywhere else in the world. So they come to Washington for better living. The world that we living in now is nothing like it was 30 years ago. They're changing everything. They're building up Anacostia. Anacostia having a hard time getting rid of the name that they acquired where when it was trashing and all that. They're saying that it's cleaned up. They're building houses and everything down there. So I said, that's a good thing. It's changed to the point where more people are coming out because of the fact that they've cleaned it up. And literally, that's what gave Anacostia a bad name. The world is moving so fast. Children are not children anymore. It's like they grow in the world. As far as living is concerned, you have to know what you're going to do with your life in order to do anything. If you set your goals and you set it right, then you got something to work with. But if you run around following other people, letting them use their brain for you to do what you want to do, that doesn't work.
Hi, I'm Erica Doughty here with Anacostia Old History Project with
Cynthia Russell.
So I just have a couple questions for you about your connection with Anacostia Park. So my first question is, where did you grow up?
I initially grew up in Northwest DC before we moved to Southeast. By the time I was in like the third grade. My first memory of the park, while living in Northwest DC, my mom and my family from the southeast side, the northeast side, and the northwest side, we all used to come down here to have events. It was a big enough space to house enough people to congregate and enjoy outside time, and it wasn't like a big issue because it was enough room for everybody. Before I started working down here, I used to walk the trails with my kids. We walked this trail for exercise, and it's so many people out here walking. People pass you by, they say hello, they're riding bikes. So it's always a happy time down here. I don't never see any violence. It's always like, people out having a good time. But when I started working down here, it became more of a emotional experience because a lot of people started telling me the reasons why they were coming. Like they wanted to relieve stress, they were having a bad day, they wanted to lose weight, and this is an area where they can work out quietly without having to be stressed for that. I believe that to have it disappear would be devastating for this area. We have so many places to go, but like this park alone, Anacostia River, from like the Bladensburg side to this part going down to Haynes Point, it's like about 8.5 miles. To take all this away, it would be devastating for the communities and the areas around this part. It's a national jam to have it here in this community where so many people can just come and chill out and be amongst each other. The more people come down to the park, the more resources the park will receive overall. It's a beautiful place to be on any given day, and I feel protected being down here. I don't never see too much of a negative entity being down here at the park. It's always peaceful and serene, and I think that's one of the reasons why me and my family continue to come back to the park.
This is Anaya Brown. I'm here with my partner, Sophie Whitaker, and Miss Janelle. We are at the Kenilworth Aquatic Gardens, and this is for the Anacostia Park Oral History Project.
Well, my first experience with Kenilworth Aquatic Gardens actually preceded my living here. So I lived in Deanwood, and I was following the Marvin Gaye Trail, and then it brought me here. And I had never been here before, but when I got here, I was like, what is this? That was my first experience, just walking through the neighborhood, walking through the park, and just seeing the amount of green space that you wouldn't normally expect to see in DC. And I think the last couple of years, especially during COVID, that has brought, from what I can see, because I've only been here 4 years, but I think that it's brought a lot of people to the neighborhood just in exploring the outdoors and just wanting to be outside. But I still meet a lot of people who are like, where's that? There's really no limit on all the things that you could potentially do here because it's so beautiful. It's really serene, and it's just, I think it's like a hidden gem. Just waking up every day and this is in my backyard. It's quite extraordinary.
My name is Larry Roberts, and I'm here with.
My name is Dennis Chestnut.
Okay, we are here at the Kenilworth Aquatic Gardens.
Native Washingtonian, born here in Washington, D.C. In 1949. So that makes me right now 73 years old. I've lived in Ward 7 all of my life, except for some short periods, raised my family here. My first experience here at the Kenilworth Aquatic Gardens was when I was probably maybe 9, 10 years old. I was a youngster. Because of the way the community is constructed, we have a lot of natural resources over here in this area, so it's very different from Ward 1 or 2, in those areas where there's a lot of concrete. It's, some trees on the streets, but, but over here in this area, I grew up with access to a lot of natural resources. I mean, this park is only one example of it. The river was one of those things that was a part of, my growing up. I actually learned how to swim in, Watts Branch and the Anacostia River. And that was not by necessarily choice initially, but, the city was segregated. That was the law at one time here in Washington, D.C. One of the things that was fought for by the past generations, people need to understand it wasn't that anybody was looking for any kind of handout or anything. The main thing that folks were looking for was access. And there were swimming pools that, we were not allowed to attend. Interestingly enough, one of those pools that was segregated was the pool that's located in Anacostia Park. But we didn't really dwell much on that. We gravitated to the river on hot days. That's where we went. And one interesting thing about that, the way we had to access the Anacostia River through Kenilworth Park, which at that time was a landfill. And they would have these open burnings like that a couple of times a week. That was the history. So that's what we had to go through, which we weren't supposed to be in there at all anyway. Right. sometimes you find a way to go, But that was, my experience with swimming in Anacostia River. I mean, we would turn over rocks and find salamanders and frogs, and I'm glad that we had that experience because I know that experience is in part what has connected me to being on the board and working to help support, organizations like the Friends of Kenilworth Aquatic Gardens. Now, this program that fortunately your mom found, and here you are, gathering all of this, doing this research and gathering this information, and you know, getting an experience. I always employ young people to consider, nonprofit organizations like the Friends of Kenilworth Aquatic Gardens is one. There's so many of them. They fill a lot of void, do a lot of things, and provide a lot of different kinds of services throughout in the community.
I am Nisha Smitherman. I am here with Ariana Patterson, and we are interviewing
Ramirez McFadder. I moved to D.C. As a teenager to go to college, and I've been here ever since for the last 53 years. I go way back with Anacostia Park, even as a youngster, my early 20s. We used to come to Anacostia Park and play flag football. Um, there was actually a game called the Turkey Bowl that the D.C. Department of Recreation put on every November, and I played on a team that played in the Turkey Bowl. But then over the years, as the park was not used that much, I stopped coming. The city changed somewhat. Um, Washington D.C. used to be a predominantly black city, and then it started to change over the years in the 80s, the 90s, and especially in the 2000s. It really started to um, what we call gentrification, and with that gentrification population coming in, and with the gentrification evolving, I believe a lot of us just stopped coming. We kept moving, and we kept moving, and before you know it, the population, um, gentrification started to occur. And I don't know, I think a lot of us moved out of the city looking for upgrade, so to speak, upward mobility, improve our, way of living. Um, and I think a lot of us, I didn't own property in D.C., but I think a lot of us gave up our property um, through the gentrification. And it's in a sense, the gentrification has been good in order for us to wake up, and get back involved in our community, and I see that happening now. We decided to regain or take our park back and started coming back. But I do believe that that's one of the reasons we stopped coming. People just lost interest. And then we also had to look at COVID. COVID really shut the park down. And that's for a couple of years, there was no activity. But it's really been a resurgence since we've overcome this COVID-19. But over the years, that's another change. The water quality has improved. As a matter of fact, by the year 2025, we should be able to eat the fish that we catch out of the river. I learned this as a part of being a steward of the Anacostia Watershed Society. Um, and this river should also be swimmable in 2025.
I am Yvonne Doughty, and I'm here with my partner,
Erica Doughty.
My name is Violet Jennings, VJ. As someone who has lived in DC for, I could say, a majority of my life, I've also lived maybe 2 or 3 blocks away from here for just as long. I've come here for events like the Lotus Festival. I'm pretty sure a few birthdays as well. And in general, it's just a nice place to walk around, to let my mind wander. DC is usually represented as a city, but then you come out to a place like this, and you see that there is a lot more than just tall buildings. There's also the beauty of the aquatic gardens. Our community has already been doing so much to better this park, better our community, our neighborhood. I would say that this is home away from home for me. Uh, if I don't want to be in the house all day, this is typically where I would go. This place is a wonderful park, uh, full of very natural beauty that I would recommend anyone actually come to.
I am Anaya Brown. I'm here with Mr. Bruce at Anacostia Park.
We never had the opportunity to come this far down to the park. The park has always been, for the most part, segregated. So we never had the opportunity to come and actually look at the river. When you come down the park, you start to see all of this land. You don't get a chance to see that in public housing. You know, the land there, a lot of concrete. There's not a lot of greenery. So that was an awakening for me. I utilized every part of the park from a standpoint of recreation. Some things I like fishing. My uncle took us fishing. I like swimming in the swimming pool. I played basketball on the basketball court. I played football on the field. Everything stemmed from this park here in the Anacostia Park. There's a lot of history in this park. There's another part of recreation where we had live bands. We'll come down the park, either go play basketball, football, or go and listen to live bands. So that was a thing that was happening every Saturday down here. There is no recreation in our youth today. What the youth see today is in their hands. The phone, the iPod, the games. I think the social media has taken over our recreation part. I work for the Friends of Anacostia Park. And one of my presentations, when I talk to someone for the first time, I say, tell me what's in your mind right now when you come to the park. The skating rink, basketball court, the fishing. I said, and that's a natural thought. But I'm not here to talk to you about recreation. I'm here to talk to you about information by way of recreation. Get your information first, then go put your skates on, then go play that basketball, then go play that football, then go fishing. The Anacostia is just so rich in its history. This river was 40 feet deep at one time. The average feet of this river is 4 feet. So we lost 36 feet of water because of all the sun and all the pollution that's in here. That's where, if you ask the changes, I would love to see a museum down here that actually have an information center. So when visitors come, visitors can go right through the information center and get all the information about the Anacostia Park. Because verbally, I can tell you something you may forget, but if you go through the information center, you can pick up pamphlets. You can take it home and you can share with others. So that's where the difference is between then and now.
My name is Ariana Patterson. This is the Oral History Project, and I'm here with Sharita Slayton.
I was born in Northwest DC, and I currently live in Eastland Gardens in Ward 7. I love to come and visit and walk and to look at the Lotus Festival. And it's almost like people from the outside come to enjoy our beauty and our nation and our native plants that are here in Aquatic Gardens. We always say it's our little secret that a lot of people do not even know about it. And so my relationship to it is that it's almost like you don't feel like you're in DC when you're sitting here where we're sitting now and you're hearing the birds chirp and you're seeing the water. The lilies have gone away, but it's just peace. It's serenity. it's a place that I can walk here from my home, but you don't have to hear the traffic and the cars. As I'm listening to the birds that are chirping, it is just a serenity. What makes it attractive to developers is because this is here. So gentrification affects what is nearby and what may abut the park so that they can get as close as they can to say when they advertise, we're in walking distance of the aquatic gardens, right? Where you can hear or see 50 species of birds and the lily pond, the one native park of DC. So, in that sense, gentrification causes those that want to enjoy nature to move in and kind of outprice the black and brown people. Hopefully, we will continue to work to clean the Anacostia, but we need nature. We need it. It serves a purpose, and I think sometimes people forget that. If we were to take away parks, we would not have the beauty of nature. I think we would be missing an intricate part of life.
My name is Misha Smotherman. I'm here interviewing
Althea Harris of Eastland Gardens. I basically lived in Ward 7 my entire life, so I'm a native Washingtonian. Only thing I can think of the Anacostia Park is my youth, mainly my youth, because we always had concerts over there. And Anacostia Park, because during my upbringing, Anacostia still could be borderline undesirable area. Not so much as it is now, but it was crime ridden and things like that. So when Anacostia Park wasn't as utilized, and plus the things that I see in Anacostia Park, like the tennis courts and even the rec center, all that has improved over the years, and maybe it's more inviting. And I'm just glad that someone is interested in what has happened in my life or my generational life or what. It just seems to be such um, an ideal thing to do, just to have on record what this community, Eastland Gardens, Kenilworth Aquatic Gardens, and all these, what was it like in 2022? What was it like to live in a community that was undesirable? Originally was undesirable because the incinerator was here on this land right behind the aquatic garden. Just to know that we were allowed to purchase property because it was undesirable to others, but we made it a beautiful home and a beautiful community. This is just it's good to know what happened before you became a part of something. Yeah, you can't beat this for city living to be here in the aquatic gardens, and it's walking distance from my house. So I'm really blessed to know that this is here. So many acres of beauty. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate you taking the time to interview me.